I took the liberty of fixing your wedding plans, dear. They were just a little bit messy. My mother-in-law, Vivian Clark, slides a thick, laminated seating chart across the polished table. We are sitting in a high-end cafe with our wedding planner, but Vivian is the only one talking. I look down and my heart stops. My name is completely gone from the top of the header. It has been replaced with a bold gold font that reads, "The Clark Wedding, curated by Vivian Clark." My chest tightens until it actually hurts to breathe. I look at my fiancé, Daniel, hoping he will say something to stop this madness. But he just sits there, staring at his coffee cup like it is the most interesting thing in the world. He says absolutely nothing. In that 1 second, I realize that my wedding is no longer mine. It has been stolen right in front of my face. Vivian is smiling at me, but her eyes are cold and sharp. She isn't trying to help me at all. She is trying to erase me from the most important day of my life, and so far, she is succeeding perfectly. Vivian's smile stays perfectly in place, looking sweet and fake. "Sweetheart, don't look so shocked. You were clearly getting overwhelmed with all these tiny details. I simply thought I would step in and handle the heavy lifting for you," she says. Her voice is calm, like she is talking to a small child who can't tie her own shoes. The wedding planner, a woman who I hired and paid for, just nods awkwardly. She looks at Vivian with a mix of fear and respect. Daniel finally reaches over and squeezes my hand under the table, but he doesn't correct his mother. He doesn't tell her that we already spent months picking these details together. I swallow the hot lump of humiliation in my throat, feeling the sting of tears behind my eyes. I have to force myself not to cry in front of them. This isn't helpful advice or a kind gesture. This is a cold act of sabotage. It is about control. Vivian wants the world to know that even when Daniel gets married, she is still the one in charge of the family. I slowly flip through the pages of the new chart she created. My hands are shaking so much that the paper crinkles. I looked for my best friend, who was supposed to be sitting right next to me at the head table. She has been removed entirely and placed at a table in the very back corner. My favorite aunt, the woman who helped raise me, has been moved behind a large decorative pillar where she won't be able to see the ceremony. Then I look at the front and center tables. They are filled with Vivian's social circle, people I have never even met. Every single decision I made over the last 6 months has been erased with a single pen stroke. Every flower choice, every song, and every guest placement is gone. And the worst part isn't even Vivian's arrogance. The worst part is that no one at this table is defending me. I'm standing on a battlefield all by myself, watching my dreams get torn apart by a woman who thinks she owns everything. I feel like a ghost at my own wedding. Vivian has always been like this. From the moment Daniel introduced us, she needed to be the center of everything. She picks the restaurants, she picks the holiday themes, and she even tried to pick the house we bought. She treats everyone around her like characters in a play that she is directing. To her, I am not the bride who loves her son. I am just a minor detail that she can rearrange or remove whenever she feels like it. She thinks she is the queen and the rest of us are just her servants. She has spent her whole life using her money and her husband's name to get exactly what she wants. She believes that because she is a Clark, she is better than everyone else. She thinks I am just a girl from a normal family who should be grateful to even be in the same room as her. She doesn't see me as a person with my own thoughts or feelings. She sees me as a project to be managed. This wedding was her biggest chance to show off, and she wasn't going to let a nobody like me stand in her way. I take a deep breath and force a very polite, very calm smile onto my face. I look at Vivian and nod slowly. "If that is what you think is best for the family, Vivian, then I won't argue," I say quietly. Beside me, I feel Daniel relax. He looks relieved that there isn't going to be a big fight in the middle of the cafe. Vivian beams at me, her chest puffing out with pride. She thinks she has won. She thinks she broke my spirit and that I am finally falling in line like everyone else. She starts talking about the new floral arrangements she ordered, which are 3 times more expensive than the ones I wanted. I just listen and nod, pretending to be interested. But inside my mind, something very big has shifted. A cold wall has gone up around my heart. If she wants to play the game of control, I will give her exactly what she wants for now. I will give her a version of control that she never expected. She thinks she is the shark in the water, but she has no idea who owns the ocean. What Vivian doesn't know is the biggest secret I have ever kept. She thinks I am just a mid-level office manager with a decent salary. She thinks my family is just fine. But for the last 4 years, I have been working with a private investment group to buy up historic properties in the city. I am not just planning a wedding at this venue. I actually own the entire venue. I bought the building through a holding company 2 years ago because I loved the architecture. I have spent a fortune fixing it up and making it the most exclusive spot in the state. Legally, the venue answers to me and my board of directors. Every staff member, every manager, and every security guard works for me. Vivian has been spending her mornings redesigning a space that belongs to the person she is currently insulting. She is treating the owner of the building like a servant, and she has absolutely no clue. I haven't told Daniel because I wanted to surprise him on our wedding night with the news that we owned such a beautiful piece of history. But now, that secret is going to become my shield. The next morning, the drama continues. Vivian calls our wedding planner at 7 in the morning. I am sitting in the kitchen drinking tea when the planner calls me, sounding like she is about to have a panic attack. Lydia, your mother-in-law just called. She told me that I am to ignore any calls from you. She said she will be making all final decisions from now on and that she is the one paying the bills, the planner whispers. I can hear her voice trembling. She is caught between the bride and the woman she thinks has all the power. I stay very calm, which seems to surprise her. That's fine, I say smoothly. Let her think that. Just do whatever she asks for the next few days. Don't worry about me. The planner hesitates, confused by my reaction, but she finally agrees. I hang up and set my phone down. I want Vivian to feel completely comfortable. I want her to believe that she has total authority over every vendor and every detail. The higher she climbs on her mountain of pride, the further she will have to fall when I finally pull the rug out from under her. Later that evening, I decided to give Daniel one last chance to do the right thing. I wait until we are sitting on the couch together. Daniel, I'm really hurt by the seating chart, I say, keeping my voice soft. Your mother removed my best friend from the head table. This is our wedding, not hers. Why didn't you say anything? Daniel sighs heavily and rubs his face with his hands. He looks tired and annoyed that I am bringing it up. Lydia, please. My mom just wants it to be perfect. She has a lot of experience with these kinds of big events. Can't you just let her handle it? It would make my life so much easier if you two didn't fight, he says. Perfect. He thinks her version of perfection is more important than my happiness. He thinks my role is to just be quiet so he doesn't have to deal with his mother's temper. It isn't our wedding anymore. In his mind, it is her event, and we are just the guests of honor. He is choosing his mother's comfort over my basic respect. That realization feels like a cold wind blowing through our apartment. Over the next week, Vivian goes into full-speed sabotage mode. She starts replacing all the vendors I spent months choosing. My florist, a sweet woman I've known for years, is cancelled and replaced with a flashy designer from out of town. My dress designer is told that Vivian will handle the final fittings. She even tries to change the menu to things she likes, completely ignoring the fact that I am allergic to shellfish. She is installing her own contacts everywhere, people who are louder, flashier, and much more expensive. These vendors are nothing like what I wanted for our special day. I watch it all happen from a distance, checking my emails as the cancellation notices fly into my inbox. I let her do it. I don't send a single angry text. I don't call her to scream. I just sit back and watch her destroy my original plans piece by piece. She thinks she is building a masterpiece, but she is actually just building a cage for herself. She has no idea that every vendor she cancelled is actually calling me directly to ask what is going on. I decided to visit the venue to check on things. As I walk through the grand lobby, the venue manager, a tall man named Thomas, pulls me aside quietly. He looks worried. Lydia, Mrs. Clark has been here 3 times today. She is telling the staff to move the statues and change the lighting. She even tried to fire one of our coordinators because she didn't like her shoes. Should we stop her? He asks. I look at him and shake my head slowly. Not yet, Thomas. Let her do whatever she wants. Treat her like she is the boss for now. Let her feel like she owns the place, I tell him. He looks at me with a confused expression, but he knows I am the one who signs his paychecks. If that's what you want, ma'am. But she is being very difficult with the kitchen staff, he adds. I give him a reassuring pat on the shoulder. Don't worry. It will all be over soon. Just keep a record of everything she changes. I want a full list of her improvements by tomorrow night. Timing is everything in a situation like this, and the clock is ticking toward the big reveal. The tension peaks at a family dinner a few days before the wedding. Vivian is holding court at the head of the table, laughing and telling everyone how much work she has had to do. We had to step in, you see, she says to her sisters, gesturing toward me with a wine glass. Lydia was turning the wedding into something small, almost like a backyard party. It just didn't have the Clark prestige. So I took over the reins to save the day. Everyone at the table chuckles and nods. They look at me with pitying smiles, like I am a poor girl who just couldn't handle the big leagues. Daniel stays silent again, focusing on his mashed potatoes. I feel the sharp sting of the insult, but I also feel something else, a cold sense of power returning to me. I let them have their laugh. I let them believe I am the weak link in the family chain. They have no idea that the Clark prestige they are bragging about is currently being hosted in a building that I paid for in cash. I am the one providing the stage for their arrogance, and I can take it away whenever I want. Vivian doesn't stop at just the decorations. She decides to change the guest list again, adding 60 extra people at the last minute. These aren't friends. They are business partners, socialites, and people she wants to impress. This wedding needs presence, Lydia. It needs to show the world who the Clarks are, she tells me over the phone. I can hear the excitement in her voice. She is finally getting the grand show she always wanted. She thinks I am just a background character in her play. Of course, Vivian. If you think 60 more people are necessary, then add them, I say. I am perfectly calm. Let her build the stage as big as she wants. Let her invite every important person she knows. The more people that are there, the bigger the audience will be when the truth finally comes out. She is so busy making sure the world sees her power that she has completely forgotten to check if she actually has any. She is walking into a trap that she built with her own hands, and I am just the one holding the key. That night, I drove to a private office across town to meet with the venue's legal team. We sit in a room filled with law books and heavy furniture. We spend hours reviewing the contracts for the event. I want to be 100% sure of my authority. We look at the final approval rights and the language regarding event management. Everything is crystal clear. At the bottom of every single document, from the property deed to the insurance papers, is my signature. Not Vivian's. Not Daniel's. Mine. You have total control, Lydia, my lawyer tells me. If you want to shut down the event or change every detail back to the original plan, the staff is legally required to follow your orders. Mrs. Clark has no standing here. I nod, feeling a strange sense of calm. I am not doing this to be mean. I am doing this to survive. I am doing this because I refuse to start my marriage as a shadow in someone else's life. I have worked too hard to build my own success to let it be erased by a woman who doesn't even know how to be kind. The rehearsal night arrives, and it is a complete disaster for my original vision. Vivian is in full control, marching around the venue like a general. She is directing the staff, shouting about the placement of the chairs, and rearranging the floral decor for the 10th time. She is acting like she is the one getting married. She even tries to tell me how to walk down the aisle. More grace, Lydia. You're walking like you're going to the grocery store, she yells across the room. I stand in the background, quietly watching everything. I am learning exactly how she treats people when she thinks she has power over them. I see her talk down to the waiters and roll her eyes at the flower girls. I am waiting for the right moment to act. Daniel is busy talking to his old college friends, completely ignoring the way his mother is treating me. He thinks everything is going great because there is no arguing. He doesn't realize that the silence he loves so much is actually the sound of a bomb getting ready to go off. I am the one who built this room, and I am the one who will decide how it ends. After the rehearsal, Vivian corners me in the hallway. She looks me up and down with a satisfied smirk on her face. You really should be grateful, Lydia. Without me, this wedding would have been embarrassing. You clearly didn't have the vision to pull this off on your own, she says. Her voice is full of poison disguised as a compliment. I meet her eyes and hold her gaze, not blinking once. Tomorrow will be unforgettable, Vivian. I promise you that, I say. My voice is steady and cold. She smiles, thinking I am finally admitting that she was right. She thinks I am thanking her for taking over. She has no idea that I am actually making a promise about her own downfall. She walks away with her head held high, thinking she is the most powerful woman in the city. I watch her go, feeling a mix of sadness and determination. I gave her every chance to be a part of my life, but she chose to try and own it instead. Tomorrow, she is going to learn the difference between being a Clark and being the boss. The stage is set, and the actors are all in place. The wedding day begins with a buzz of nervous energy. The venue is filled with staff running back and forth, carrying trays and moving flowers. Vivian walks in at 9 in the morning like she owns the entire place. She is wearing an expensive dress and giving orders to everyone she sees. She corrects the schedule, overrides the music list, and even tells the photographer where he can and cannot stand. She is in her element, enjoying the feeling of being the boss. No one stops her. The staff has been told to wait for my signal, so they just nod and do what she says for now. I am upstairs in the bridal suite, getting my hair done. I can hear her voice echoing in the hallway below. She sounds so confident, so sure of herself. She thinks this is her day of triumph. She thinks she has successfully pushed me into a corner where I will just stay quiet and do what I am told. She is about to find out that the person in the corner is actually the one holding the remote control. Around noon, a senior venue coordinator named Sarah approaches Vivian in the main ballroom. I am standing on the balcony, hidden by a curtain, watching the scene below. Ma'am, we need the final approval for the kitchen arrangements and the seating changes you requested, Sarah says carefully. She is holding a digital tablet and looking very professional. Vivian waves her off with a dismissive hand. I have already approved everything this morning. Why are you bothering me with this now? Just get it done, Vivian snaps. Sarah hesitates for a second, then clears her throat. She has a very serious expression on her face now. I'm afraid we need the legal owner's authorization for these specific changes, ma'am. They involve a significant deviation from the original contract, Sarah explains. Vivian freezes in her tracks. She turns around slowly, her eyes narrowing with anger. The owner? I am the one handling this wedding. I am the one you should be talking to. Now do your job, she shouts, her voice echoing off the high ceilings. The room goes quiet as people stop to watch the drama unfold. Vivian tries to laugh it off, but her voice sounds tight and forced. I think there has been a misunderstanding. I am the mother of the groom, and I am the one in charge of this entire event. I don't know who this owner is that you're talking about, but I'm sure they wouldn't want to lose the business of the Clark family, she says, trying to regain her status. Sarah glances up at the balcony where I am standing. Then she looks back at Vivian with a very calm, very neutral face. Actually, ma'am, you're not in charge of this building. And you're not the one who can authorize these changes, Sarah says. The room goes completely silent now. You could hear a pin drop on the marble floor. Vivian looks like she is about to explode with rage. Her face is turning a bright, angry red. Then who is? Tell me right now. I want to speak to the manager of this place immediately, she screams. She is looking around the room, expecting someone to come and apologize to her. But no one moves. The staff just stands there, waiting. I decide it is time. I step out from behind the curtain and walk slowly down the grand staircase. Every eye in the room turns toward me. I am wearing my white robe, my hair perfectly done, looking calm and composed. Let's not confuse our roles today, Vivian, I say. My voice isn't loud, but it carries through the silent room like a bell. Vivian turns sharply, her mouth hanging open. Lydia, what are you doing? Get back upstairs and finish your makeup. This is a professional matter, she snaps, trying to regain control. I reach the bottom of the stairs and walk straight up to her. I don't look afraid. I don't look overwhelmed. I look like a woman who knows exactly what she is doing. What does that mean? Confuse our roles? Vivian asks, her voice trembling with a mix of confusion and anger. I hold her gaze with a steady, unbreakable stare. It means this venue doesn't answer to you, Vivian. It never did. You have spent weeks trying to run a business that doesn't belong to you, I tell her quietly. The shock on her face is the most satisfying thing I have ever seen. Sarah, the coordinator, steps forward and hands me the digital tablet. We need your final authorization for the event layout, ma'am. Should we proceed with the original plan or the changes requested by Mrs. Clark? She asks. I take the tablet and the digital pen. I don't even look at the changes Vivian made. I just swipe them all away. Then, I sign my name in big, clear letters across the screen. I hold the tablet up so Vivian can see it. Her eyes drop to the signature line. She sees my full name written there, right above the words, owner and primary stakeholder. Her face changes instantly. The anger disappears and is replaced by a look of pure, cold realization. She looks like she has been punched in the stomach. You own this place? She whispers. Her voice is so small I can barely hear it. I nod slowly. I own this venue, Vivian. I have owned it for 2 years. And every single decision made in this building requires my final approval. Not yours. The silence that crashes over the room is heavy and suffocating. I own this venue, I say again, making sure every word sinks in. I tried to be nice. I tried to let you be a part of the planning. But you chose to try and erase me from my own wedding. You treated my staff like servants and you ignored every wish I had. Vivian looks around the room, seeing the staff looking at her with cold expressions. She realizes that she has been performing for an audience that knew the truth the whole time. For the first time in her life, Vivian has absolutely no control over the situation. She is a guest in my house, and she finally knows it. I am the owner, and I am the bride. From this moment on, your curated plans are over, I tell her. She tries to speak, but no words come out. She looks like she wants to disappear into the floor. The power shift is so total and so sudden that she doesn't even know how to react. She has spent her whole life using her name to bully people, but today, my name is the one that matters. The staff doesn't wait for her to recover. They immediately redirect their attention to me. Ma'am, how would you like the ballroom arranged? Should we bring back the original florist? Sarah asks. I nod firmly. Yes. Bring back the original florist. Reset the seating chart to my version. My best friend is at the head table, and my aunt is in the front row. And remove the extra 60 people Vivian added. They were never on my list, I say. The staff moves into action instantly. They start tearing down Vivian's expensive, gaudy decorations and bringing out the elegant, simple things I originally chose. One by one, my dreams for the wedding are being restored. Vivian stands in the corner, watching her masterpiece get dismantled in minutes. She looks small and defeated. She doesn't try to stop them. She doesn't shout. She just stands there, realizing that her reign of terror is finally over. She is finally seeing the woman I really am, and it is a version of me she never expected to meet. Daniel walks into the ballroom just as the original flowers are being brought in. He looks around in total confusion. Lydia, what's going on? Why are they moving the flowers? Mom, what happened? He asks. He sees his mother standing in the corner looking pale and shaken. I walk over to him and look him straight in the eyes. Daniel, I own this venue, I say. He stares at me, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. You own this place? Since when? He asks. I feel a sting of sadness that he never knew this about me. For 2 years, Daniel. I worked hard to build something of my own. I tried to tell you, but you never took my work seriously. You were too busy letting your mother run our lives. I tell him. He looks at me, then at the building, then back at me. He realizes that the woman he thought was overwhelmed is actually a powerful business owner. He looks ashamed, and he should be. He stayed silent when he should have spoken up, and now he is seeing the consequence of that choice. Vivian finally pulls me aside, her voice shaky and low. She doesn't look like the queen of the family anymore. She looks like a woman who just realized she lost her crown. You should have told me, Lydia. You shouldn't have let me act like that if you were the owner. It wasn't fair, she says, trying to blame me for her own behavior. I look at her and reply gently, but with a firm edge to my voice. You never asked, Vivian. You never once asked what I did or how I spent my time. You only took over. You assumed I was small because it made you feel big. Today, you learned that being a Clark doesn't mean you get to own people, I tell her. She has no response. She just nods slowly and walks toward the exit. She knows she can't win this one. She knows that if she wants to stay for the wedding, she has to do it on my terms. For the first time in our relationship, there is a boundary that she cannot cross. It is the best feeling in the world. The ceremony begins a few hours later, and it is exactly how I wanted it to be. The room is filled with simple, elegant flowers and the people I actually love. My best friend is standing right beside me, and my aunt is crying in the front row. The music is perfect, and the lighting is just right. As I walk down the aisle, I catch Vivian's eye in the second row. She isn't trying to direct anything. She isn't giving orders. She is just sitting there, watching me with a look of realization. She finally sees that I am her equal, not her project. She finally understands that I built this life with my own hands. For the first time, she steps back and lets someone else have the spotlight. I reach the altar and take Daniel's hand. He looks at me with a new kind of respect in his eyes. The wedding is finally mine, and the secret is out. I am no longer a detail to be rearranged. I am the bride, I am the owner, and I am finally in control of my own story.